Black doctor is humiliated by the police in a restaurant, but they soon regret their action. The city of Atlanta, United States, was about to witness a storm of justice that would shake the foundations of the local justice system. It all began with a humiliating incident involving Dr. Lucas W., a respected black physician at a prestigious restaurant in the city. Lucas, 32 years old, was a brilliant and dedicated doctor, recognized for his innovations and significant contributions in the field of medicine. That night, he was there to celebrate an important achievement in his career, surrounded by colleagues and friends who admired him. The atmosphere at the Lolly restaurant was festive and lively, with lawyers, doctors, and businessmen gathered to celebrate Lucas' success. His presence illuminated the room, reflecting his sense of accomplishment and confidence. "Lucas, you really outdid yourself today. This is an incredible achievement," declared Dr. Amanda, a close colleague, raising her glass for a toast. "It was a long journey, but we overcame it together," Lucas responded, smiling. Suddenly, the joyous atmosphere was interrupted by the imposing entry of two police officers, who immediately drew attention with their stern expressions. They approached Lucas' table, interrupting the celebration. "Sir, we need to see your identification," ordered one of the officers, in an authoritative and inflexible tone. Lucas, trying to maintain his composure in the face of the sudden confrontation, questioned, "What's the problem, officer?" The officer responded dryly, "We're just doing our job, sir. Please show your identification." Feeling a chill run down his spine, Lucas handed over his identification, which the officer examined with a disdainful look. "Dr. Lucas W., is it?" said the officer, returning the ID with an ironic smile. "Do you think your title gives you the right to be here?" Lucas' colleagues began to protest indignantly, but the officers dismissed them with racist comments and unyielding assertions that a black man like Lucas did not belong in such a prestigious place. The restaurant manager tried to intervene, but the officers ignored him, further aggravating Lucas' humiliation. "This is outrageous. He is a respected guest," exclaimed the manager, trying to calm the situation. "Stay out of this," the officer retorted, giving him a dark look. After a long and uncomfortable interrogation, the officers finally released Lucas with forced and insincere apologies. Lucas' composure hid the pain and indignation he felt at being treated like a criminal in his own celebratory environment. Upon arriving home, Lucas found his brother, Thomas W., a prominent civil rights lawyer, reading in his office. Immediately, Thomas sensed that something was wrong. "Lucas, what happened?" he asked, concern etched on his face. With a trembling voice, Lucas recounted the incident at the restaurant. "I was humiliated tonight, Thomas. Two officers approached me, made racist comments, and treated me like a criminal." Anger flashed in Thomas's eyes as he embraced his brother, trying to offer comfort. "This is unacceptable. I will take immediate action. They cannot treat you this way, nor anyone else." The next day, Thomas used his influence and connections to open an investigation into the officers involved, determined to uncover the truth. He began to examine cases related to these officers, looking for signs of misconduct. Meanwhile, Lucas and his colleague, Dr. Amanda, also decided to conduct their own investigation. They analyzed documents and records, revealing a disturbing pattern of evidence tampering and abusive behavior by the officers. "Look at this, Lucas," said Amanda, pointing to a case file. "In this case, the witness statements were clearly altered. I'm sure these officers were involved." Lucas' indignation grew with each new discovery. "This is worse than we imagined. We need to make this public, with the help of investigative journalists." Lucas and Amanda began to bring their findings to light, and the city erupted in turmoil. The local media launched its own investigations, examining the officers' histories and revealing a pattern of abuse and corruption. Feeling the pressure, the officers tried to intimidate Lucas and Amanda, following them and making veiled threats. But Lucas refused to back down. "We cannot let this corruption continue. We need justice, not just for me, but for all the victims of this system." Community support began to grow, and civil rights groups joined Lucas in organizing protests and pushing for a more comprehensive investigation. The city was divided between those who supported the police and those who demanded urgent reform. "We're with you, Lucas," chanted the protesters outside the courthouse. Thomas, on the other hand, faced his own dilemma as he reviewed old cases. He found more and more evidence that people had been convicted without knowing, based on fabricated evidence. The responsibility weighed heavily on him, but he knew he had to do the right thing. "We need to review all these cases," said Lucas with determination. "We cannot let these injustices continue." Thomas nodded with a resolute look. "You're right, Lucas. We will expose the truth, no matter the cost." Public attention reached its peak when a public hearing was scheduled to discuss the officers' conduct and Lucas' findings. The courthouse was packed, with the entire city watching intently. Lucas, standing before the court, gave an emotional testimony. He spoke about the incident at the restaurant, his investigations, and the evidence he had uncovered. Every word was laden with emotion, highlighting the impact of racism and corruption in the justice system. "Here is the evidence," declared Lucas, presenting documents and recordings. These officers fabricated evidence to secure quick convictions. They betrayed public trust and used their power to oppress, rather than protect. Under pressure, one of the involved officers confessed. He revealed that they were following orders from their superiors to ensure convictions, exposing a corruption scheme that went far beyond what anyone had imagined. The city was left in shock. Thomas, overcome with emotion, delivered a powerful speech about justice and accountability. "We must correct these errors and ensure that our system is fair for all. We cannot allow corruption to destroy the integrity of the judicial system." The once divided city began to unite around the necessary reforms. Several high-ranking officials were dismissed, and Lucas, Amanda, and Thomas worked tirelessly to help the victims of the scheme obtain justice. Lucas, now a recognized and respected figure, launched a non-profit organization to provide legal assistance to the wronged, with the support of his community. He became a symbol of the fight for equality and the reform of the justice system. The city, transformed by Lucas' struggle and the relentless pursuit of truth, looked to the future with hope. His story was not just about justice, but also about resilience and the importance of never giving up the fight for a better world. In the years that followed, Lucas and his team continued to work tirelessly, expanding their organization and helping more and more victims to obtain the justice they deserved. His voice echoed through the corridors of power, demanding significant changes and a profound transformation of the system. Gradually, the city of Atlanta became a model of restorative justice, where the mistakes of the past were confronted and corrected. Lucas' legacy inspired other communities to follow his example, uniting around the struggle for a more equitable and inclusive judicial system. His story spread across the country, becoming a symbol of hope and determination. Lucas became a national figure, a respected activist, and an untiring advocate for equality and justice. His journey, marked by challenges and victories, served as an inspiration for those who believed that a better world was possible. That night at the Lolly restaurant, Lucas could not have imagined that his encounter with the police would trigger such a profound transformation. But that is exactly what happened. His struggle became the struggle of an entire community, and his victory became a legacy that would continue to inspire future generations to fight for a more just and equal future.